Hey folks, this is Linda Forsythe here from Seavine, and I'm just doing a brief video today because a lot of people are talking about how on June 1st, 2023, there's going to be all sorts of various trials, tribunals, and everything going on in Gitmo. And for the most part, that is true. I'm going to give you the ability, though, to see exactly what and who is being tried at Gitmo right now that you can look up for yourself. So I'm going to be doing kind of like a little bit of mini tutorial and guide for you to look at, and you decide what it is that you see and so on. And so a lot of things are getting really, really busy right now. I am going to be able to do a daily Gitmo update for quite a few different things that are going to be coming up, but I'm going to try and focus today just on what is coming in June in Gitmo and how you can find out and learn about the individuals that are coming up for trial here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, real quick here. I brought you to the Seavine website so you can see a lot of these things I'm going to be talking about in the future. By all means, go to c-vine.com, c-vine.com. A number of articles and reports are going to be put up here, and also become a member. There's no paywall, no charge whatsoever to view all of the various different things that are going on in here. But we do encourage you to become a member, and you can become a member right here in this one spot where it says join now, or you can log in here. So that's a place where you go. I request that you consider becoming a paying member of this $5 a month so I can start sending you some regular newsletters, which it seems is the best way to be able to get information out, at least thus far, without being censored, because everything else that you see on here is also going to be putting on various social media if it's allowed. But for the most part, it's best if you can get the newsletters. So we request them. Plus, it helps to support us. We're going to be extremely busy and nobody's paid. So it's helpful if you consider that. All right, so let's go ahead and start right now. This right here is a actual picture of the Office of Military Commissions website. And this address up here, I'm going to be putting in the actual, not address bar, the subject bar here on social media and also on our website. So you can come here every day and you can see exactly what is going on. So without going into that, I'm just going to very quickly show you a little bit what's going on. When you come here, there's all sorts of things that you can see. All right. And this is for the general public and so on. Now, if you click this drop down box, it actually, with the Office of Military Commissions, it'll show you all the various different court cases going on, even on up to the Supreme Court. So that's kind of cool in that respect. It talks about us and it gives the history of Gitmo. I don't know how many of you really know the history of Gitmo, but that's really a fascinating read. There's a way to contact them. There's a thing here for news media resources. I am going to be doing a video in the future that is going to teach you how to actually get on to Gitmo to be able to report on the tribunals and etc. that are going there. I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how you can do it. And if you don't want to report, but you just want to see the trials, unfortunately, right now, they do not have it available to the general public on TV. They may in the future, but right now they don't. But there are multiple sites where you can go to actually witness the CCTV sites. In other words, all of the trials are actually live with a 40-second delay everywhere. And the 40-second delay, obviously, is if something classified information comes out, they have that 40-second delay to just shut things down or redact or whatever it is they're going to do. And then, of course, if you scroll down a little bit, Right here, now this is important, is the place where you, number one, you can get, let me see if I can move me out of the way here. You can get daily transcripts. You see where I'm pointing this here? You can get daily transcripts from every single trial. You can read specifically what was said in open court. And also, if there are names that you don't recognize or you don't know who they are, you can go right here to active cases. You click that, and it's a drop down box. And these are some of the active cases that are going on right now. And you click on one that's on the calendar, and it will take you to a page, and it'll show all about the background, what the charges are. It'll also show the rulings and what's been said and the whole gamut. So that's available for you here. And then, if you want to play around, you can look at this. So they also have a link here for daily transcripts on this side. But the big thing is the calendar. And so clicking on that, and so I already have one open because I didn't want to wait for it to propagate. But anyway, this is the calendar for the month of May. And this is what has been happening for the most part, especially with the KSM et al. Trials, the Khaliq Sheikh Mohammed et al. Trials, which are the 9/11 trials. 5 alleged terrorists being tried at the same time, been going on for years, still in pretrial. But anyway, I digress. It shows that it was canceled again. And this has been what's been going on with a lot of the trials for the last couple years. And there's a whole, I'm going to be going over what's going on with all this. It's actually fascinating, and it's going to open up your eyes to a lot of things. But anyway, I'm just showing you the month of May. It was all of the KSM et al. Was scheduled for the whole month, and it was canceled. Well, apparently now things are going to change, because in the month of June, except for maybe KSM et al., some of them anyway, for the month of June all the way to November of this year, it is back to back to back to back trials. And a lot of them that haven't been going on for quite some time. A lot of new ones that I've never seen before. And so I'm going to be discussing exactly what each trial is, who it is, what the situation is. So when I do my daily updates, you'll have an idea, and so on. But anyway, so moving on from there, this is the month of June. Okay. And you can see here that for the month of June, the entire month is a trial with U.S. versus Abdul Rahim Hussein Muhammad Abdu Al-Nashiri, and it's a motions hearing. Now, we at Gitmo like to abbreviate some of these, and so we call these the Al-Nashiri trials. Al-Nashiri is what the name you'll be hearing quite a bit. And what this is the USS Cole bombing that happened in the year 2000. There is actually some ties, interestingly enough, with 9/11 in the USS Cole bombing. But this also, the USS Cole bombing trial, the Al-Nashiri, is still in pre-trials. Okay, you guys didn't know that, but there you go, still in pre-trials. And it's coming to completion here, finally. So we're going to talk about that, but you have the ability to check all this out in the meantime, and so on. So when we go here, when you click the thing for the cases, you can see here, it gives the name, it gives the charges. And when you get to this page, if you keep scrolling down, you can see all the recent rulings and, what the status is, government unclassified notice, and so on. If for some reason, let me see, I haven't clicked on this yet, but if I click on it, if it is classified, this is what I was worried about. It was going to take forever to propagate. The document you are trying to access is currently undergoing review per the 2011 regulation, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, it's classified, even though it hasn't been, it hasn't gone a security review yet. So there may be some on here that you just can't see. But that's to, if you want to do a deep dive on any of these, it is worth taking the time just to hunt around a little bit. Okay. What was the USS Cole bombing? There may be some in here that they're new or they've never heard of it because you haven't been hearing about a lot of things going on in Gitmo. Well, what was the USS Cole bombing? Okay, this is from Wikipedia. I don't usually like to use Wikipedia, but for this purpose, it's pretty accurate. So the USS Cole bombing was a suicide attack by the terrorist group Al-Qaeda against the USS Cole, a guided missile destroyer of the United States Navy, on October 12, 2000, while she was being refueled in Yemen's Aden harbor. 17 U.S. Navy sailors were killed and 37 injured in the deadliest attack against the United States Navy vessel since the USS Stark incident in 1987. Al-Qaeda claimed responsibility for the attack against the United States. A U.S. judge has held Sudan liable for the attack, while another was released over $13 million in Sudanese frozen assets to the relatives of those that were killed. The United States Navy has reconsidered its rules of engagement in response to this attack. On October 30th, 2020, Sudan and the United States signed a bilateral claims agreement to compensate families of the sailors who died in the bombing. The agreement entered into force in February of 2021. The attack on the morning of Thursday, October 12th, 2000, Cole, under the command of Commander Kirk Leopold, docked in the Aden harbor for a routine fuel stop. Cole completed mooring at 9:30 and began refueling at 10:30. Around 11:18 local time, a small fiberglass boat carrying C4 explosives and 2 suicide bombers approached the port side of the destroyer and exploded, creating a 40 by 60 foot, 12 by 18-inch gash in the ship's port side, according to the memorial plate to those who lost their lives. Former CIA intelligence officer Robert Fink said the blast appeared to be caused by C4 explosives molded into the shaped charge against the hull of the boat. Around 400 to 700 pounds of explosives were used. Much of the blast entered the mechanical space below the ship's galley, violently pushing the deck, thereby killing crew members who were lining up for lunch. The crew fought flooding in the engineering spaces and had the damage under control after 3 days. Divers inspected the hull and determined that the keel had not been damaged. The sailors injured in the explosion were taken to the United States Army's Landstuhl Regional Medical Center near Ramstein, Germany, before being sent to the United States. The attack was the deadliest against a U.S. naval vessel since the Iraqi attack on the USS Stark on May 17, 1987. The asymmetric warfare attack was organized and directed by the terrorist organization Al-Qaeda. In June of 2001, an Al-Qaeda recruitment video featured Osama bin Laden, boasted about the attack, and encouraged similar attacks, etc. And it has some pictures here on exactly what was going on. And, take the time and look through it so you understand a little bit more about what's happening, because it's going to take you guys taking just a little bit of time to do some due diligence. It's available to you. There's no reason you have to be curious about what's going on. It's available to you. Okay, with that being said, I should let you know. Now I'm going to go ahead and just click this with the website and so on. When it shows on the calendar, if every so often, when it has all these trials that are actually here, let me see if I can get back to it, that are actually going on, it may come up in the morning where it says closed. So in other words, when it does that, if you don't see it one way or another, it's an open trial, which is what these are, open trials, which means that there can be, people sitting in watching the actual trials, whether it's on Gitmo or other locations for the regular lay person can be actually watching this in these open trials, but sometimes without warning for a multitude of various different reasons, they will be closed trials, which means the trials are going on You just can't see it. They are classified. And when there are closed classified trials, there are no journalists, none, zero, zip, nada. There aren't, the accused is not even in a classified closed trial. The only people that are in classified closed trials are the defense and the prosecution attorneys and the judge. That's it. Maybe in special occasions with somebody with a correct security clearance can be there for whatever reason. But for the most part, that usually is the case. So any other trials that are open, you can read the transcripts. Anything classified is redacted. And anybody with security clearance or even understanding of the military knows that information that is classified cannot be put out. That's rather frowned upon. That really is putting national security in jeopardy. You ask anybody you know that's in the military, ask them, what happens if you have a high security clearance and you leak information? I think they'll tell you it's not something that's secret. So if people are coming out getting these secret things going on or whichever, question it and wonder if you should even be seeing it and if it's even accurate. Because how would they know if classified information is accurate unless they leaked it and they had a high security clearance? Okay, traitor to our country? In my opinion, it sounds like it. But anyway, there are many things that we can be doing to be able to find out what's going on in open court. And you have that ability right now. Just go to the transcripts, on the pages right here, daily transcripts. Hello. Usually will be available if you can't be there. Like they have them at Fort Meade, where the regular lay person, anybody can come there with the right kind of ID to get on base. They have a special room there for CCTV. Same exact thing you see in Gitmo, exactly the same exact thing with a 40-second delay that you can get in there. You can't bring your phone. You can't bring any electronics or anything to this effect. People have tried occasionally, and these alarms go off. They have all sorts of sensors and whatever. If you are approved by the military to actually report on it, you will be escorted by security to another room right next to it. They see the exact same thing you do, but they are allowed to have laptops and that thing, etc. there. But they're also under pretty heavy guard. So just so you're aware. Anyway, okay, folks, this is, for the most part, what I was just going to tell you today. Please go ahead and comment on what you think in the actual, see, I'm going to stop sharing here. Okay, go ahead and comment in the comments section at what you would like me to talk about. I already can hear you saying, well, we want to find out if there's celebrities and, political, this, that, and the other thing. I will report to you exactly what is going on, and it is up to you to believe it or not. Okay, I'm just doing my part to show you what's happening, and I am going to show you a way that you can check and you can find out. So go to the website, become a member, get newsletters. The report that I'm going to be putting out tomorrow is going to be part 2 about what has been put out by Conestraro. If you haven't been up on that yet, you really need to look at the videos I've been doing and the reports on the website, because that is major release. It's a major release. It's talking about the government you want to find out what's going on, read the Conestraro report. Okay. And I am going to do part 2 of that tomorrow to mention 12 things. This is your good news for today. I'm going to mention 12 things that are not mentioned in that Conestraro report that are going to make you smile, because you are going to be able to connect more dots and know that we're going to be okay. You're going to see it. With all this limited amount of information coming out and all the diversions and the fear mongering and the, oh my gosh, oh my, things that are going on, sometimes all it takes is just a little bit of a reminder of some things that you already know, but kind of forgot about. So that's going to be my report that I'm going to put out tomorrow. Closing today, I would like to read to you a post that came out from a gentleman. It's called Professor Patriot. It's very short, but he's lovingly slapping people upside of the head that are being black-pilled and or losing hope. And what he says is pretty profound. I'm just going to read it to you. Okay, I see an awful lot of people around here. Now, my typical Telegram haunts losing faith. I see people setting due dates and deadlines. If we don't stop this or that by this time or that date, then there is no plan and we're all doomed. Okay, you're right. What are you doing here? Go live your last days of freedom with your family and friends while your helpless God succumbs to evil, folds up the picnic basket, and goes into the house. Ignore years of good people's fighting back and outsmarting the turd twiddlers, turning their super secret, disgusting world into a red pill global broadcast network. Ignoring Russia starting and prosecuting a massive surgical campaign to root out the dirty secrets of the globalists in Ukraine and expose the perpetration of global scale biowarfare. Ignore the millions of hours of sleepless, tireless work Anons have done over these past 6 or 7 years to try and hold your hand and drag you to a comfy spot while sometimes sacrificing their own sanity, their own family, and their own friends. Ignore inexplicable, unmatched, and most extraordinary Q posts. Ignore the massive number of truths and reveals within those posts that could never be conjecture. If you haven't read the first 150 posts, go do it right now. I'll wait. Now ignore what you just read. Call it a LARP. Assume it is just the ravings of a madman that the FBI can't begin to identify. Probably just a middle-aged guy in his underwear sitting in his mother's basement in front of a computer, eating cold pizza, typing out thousands of uncanny, and accurate lines of stuff nobody could possibly know in a perfectly consistent voice. Just a guy. Sure, just a guy with a hobby, like gluing the eyes on pet rocks. Ignore the resignations, the business failures, the rapidly collapsing narratives, and imploding machine with parts flying everywhere. Politicians scrambling to reestablish power and slipping in the scree. Ignore the wealthiest man on earth yanking Twitter out of the hands of the beast and turning it back to its original intent while digging the drain squirrels out of the Twitter toilets and holding that dripping mess up for the world to see. Ignore the most powerful journalist leaving his cush job and risking everything to champion a return to journalism with integrity. It's coming. Of course, anybody who is here cannot ignore all of this, not for long. You can't ignore it because you watched it all happen in real time. You just keep conveniently forgetting until someone like me gives you a whack on your melon. Just because we have a few hurdles in the way doesn't make all of what you've witnessed disappear. Considering what we are up against, it makes what you've witnessed even more spectacular. Please stay, get comfy again, and maintain your cruising altitude. Don't let challenges wipe your memory of what you've seen. The next bit of spectacular is just around the corner. It always is. Okay, again, that was by, here it is, Professor Patriot is what he wrote. I'm assuming it's a she or maybe a he. But anyway, he's right. He's right. There are some things happening, and you're going to see with my report tomorrow, some of these reminders that you have seen yourself. You just probably have forgotten about it. We are okay. Okay. We just can't allow all these things that are trying to scare the bejesus out of us get to us. Do you remember? I'm just going to say this one thing before I sign off. Do you remember when Trump first got into office and even while he was campaigning? Oh, if Trump gets in, we're going to have World War III. We're going to do this. Korea is going to launch nuclear weapons and we're screwed and the whole thing. And what happened? Okay, all this stuff, if you weren't paying attention, you totally got sucked into it and you were probably terrified. But what happened? Okay, some monumental things. 50 years of the Korean War, all of a sudden, what happened? After 50 years, for the first time in 50 years, Trump, North Korea, Kim Jong-un shook hands in the demilitarized zone. So hang in there, okay? Hang in there. Do you really think things are being abandoned? It may look that way, but just know you know better, okay? So I will see you tomorrow, and take the time and get this out there. Like this video if you liked it. That would be very helpful. And again, become a member. All right. Good night, everybody.